I'm going to record this. All right, so I know that Lauren wanted us, basically, those of us who were at Platinum Edge, to kind of go over our biggest takeaways and just kind of help, I think, probably guide and lead those of you who weren't there as to kind of how to finish the year and maybe a plan for 2016. I don't know, I'm just going with this. I don't think there was really, for me, I don't feel like there was really one big takeaway. I would say that there were probably three kind of like aha moments or takeaways.
I'm listening. I'll be right back.
Okay. Sorry. That's all right. My biggest one was probably has to do with setting up a schedule. There's an echo. Let's see if I can mute you guys. Nope, that's not it. Okay, so I muted you guys, and then if you want to speak, you know. All right, so one of my three biggest takeaways was setting up a schedule, which Shalene talked about. Obviously, we know about setting up business hours, but I think the hardest part with setting up a schedule and business hours is actually sticking to them. And so another big thing that she talked about was during your business hours to either not have your phone around or turn it off. And I'm definitely guilty of reading personal development and scrolling through Facebook at the same time. Like, multitasking doesn't work as much as we would like to think that it does. So I had to make really a conscious decision to put my phone away during my personal development, put my phone away, or at least put it into airplane mode while I'm working out. I was very guilty of answering text messages while I was working out, clearly not getting in my best workout that way. And so she had to sit down and really look at what our real life looks like and how we can incorporate our business hours into what is already going on in our life. It's not about creating like this perfect dream world schedule. Your life is still your life. So how do you take your already busy life and incorporate your business hours into that? So it's about creating a schedule that way and then sticking to it. And it's the whole 80-20 rule that we all know. Your schedule is going to be your schedule probably about 80% of the time. 20% of the time, other things are going to happen, and that's just life. So can you come up with a schedule that you can stick to 80% of the time? So that was a big takeaway that I'm really trying to implement. I started implementing it Monday, as soon as I got back. The second thing was I know that for my personal team, starting new coaches off right is definitely where we struggle. We can bring coaches on, but then getting them to stay and getting them to really fly right away and hit Emerald right away is definitely a sticking point for us. We haven't found a great system for it. And so Janelle Summers had a really great training that I plan on using to help create a new welcome email and really create kind of like a new system for getting new coaches started right. And of course, once I create it, I'd be more than happy to share with anyone. It's on my to-do list. And then really the third biggest aha was using Periscope, which is live streaming. And I feel like before I went to Platinum Edge, I really thought, okay, I have Facebook down. Now I need to start incorporating Instagram. And what Shalene taught us was that, and other people taught us, was that live streaming is like the future of social media. And so if you can get to kind of like the next big thing before everyone else hops on board, then you stake your claim and you have a much greater success rate than if you get into it after the fact. So is it going to be comfortable at first? No. Are we probably all going to fail at first? Probably. But the good news is that no one is there to watch us right now. And so we can practice and practice and practice. And by the time everyone hops on board, you'll already have a following. Those were, and then YouTube, like the whole live streaming and video aspect was definitely kind of like those three things were kind of my biggest takeaways. So Dorothy and Chrissy, I'll let you guys unmute yourselves and just kind of share your stuff.
I'll go really quickly so Chrissy and I can jump off, but mine were very similar to yours, Anne. Getting coaches started right and team culture. I definitely feel like I need to be better at those two things. I'm a terrible multitasker, so it was taking me way longer to do things. Even if I had set business hours, I was between things, so I wasn't very efficient at getting my stuff done. So shutting that down has got to happen. And then social media was the other thing. Going into live streaming, getting rid of my old phone and getting a new phone so that I can run more business from my phone and utilize that as a tool. Hello, it's a write-off. So if you have an old crappy phone, update it. That's what Shalene says. So I'll let Chrissy go really quickly so she and I can jump off.
I agree. I'm just going to pretty much echo what, Ann and Dorothy said. For me, where this really played a huge effect on myself is I have been living in a chaotic life. I have 3 homes right now. I am living in between 2 homes. I am, multitasking, trying to put a little bit of time here, a little bit of time here, a little bit of time here, and not one solid area am I really focusing. And honestly, that is how I started my business. And that's probably why I have gotten so overwhelmed over the last 2 years at different periods of this business. I have questioned where I'm at, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, because my life outside of Beachbody is absolutely a train wreck. And so for me, this, and I know that our lives are never going to be super organized and super whatever, but for me, where Shalene was really, really talking, and Christine, was that I needed to slow down and develop my life and get some of my external stressors out, and just take time to figure out practices, to take time to learn About Periscope. Now, I saw everybody in our Platinum Edge, they're posting their Periscope, they're doing this, they're doing that. And that's great to kind of fail forward. But for me, I want to take time so that I'm not wasting time. And so for me, getting a schedule, like I've really been doing much, much better with that. But now it was like time to put my shit in gear and to explain to my team that if you have a question, email it. Do not message me in these times because this is my core activity. I know that that sounds harsh, but otherwise they are going to message you 24/7, and you're never going to be able to get done. They don't see the value in your time. You don't obviously see the value in your time because you're not setting boundaries. You're not setting limitations. So I had to have some tough love with my team, let them know, and they've all accepted it. I don't know why I struggled with it. I was afraid to hurt somebody or step on somebody's toes or maybe make somebody feel uncomfortable because I wasn't there 24/7. Well, that's the atmosphere that I'm creating on my team, and I cannot be hooked to my phone 24/7. I have a life outside of Beachbody. I have a family. So setting myself up that way. So I honestly, since we've gotten back, haven't even done one invite. And at this point, and I know Lauren's probably going to be rolling her eyes at me, but I don't care. I have to get this stuff figured out. Success Club is going to happen organically for me because I'm putting things in place. I'm setting things up. I'm working on my website. I'm adding value to my Twitter. I'm adding freemiums. I'm literally sitting down and basically building my business from the ground up by setting the tone and placing value on my time. Today, Dorothy and I are going to hop off because one of the topics that Shalene talked about was outsourcing. All of this stuff, once I get it all organized, I am going to look at outsourcing this. She has some great tips, some safe tips. Dorothy and I are going to hop off here and learn more about that, and hopefully we can have a Zoom on some of that stuff so that we can help you guys with that. But what Shalene talked about is how if she outsources this, really, I watched her on Periscope last night. She outsources one Periscope video. So that's like a 10, 30-minute video. And she can develop, by outsourcing it, 163 hours of content. That's blog posts, that's YouTube videos, that's Facebook like page, that's her Facebook page, Instagram. Like, she went through and listed, and she broke it all down last night on her Periscope, and I was blown away because all of our time is so valuable. And where do you want to spend the most of your time? You want to spend that with the client, reading their email, working with them, mentoring them. Right now, and as you guys probably all can relate, I felt like I'm helping them, but I'm not fully helping them because I'm worried about what post I'm going to do. I'm worried about where my post is going to come from. And I'm thinking about all these other things. Oh my gosh, I've got laundry downstairs. Oh, I need to go feed the dogs. Like, all of these things are going on in my brain, and I'm not spending dedicated, valuable time with the client, with the person that's entrusting me to help them. So what do I need to do? I need to get my shit in gear. Literally, I do. So with that being said, I have a positive note. So since I have done this and I've put this out to the universe, we got an offer on our house today. And we are probably going to accept it. Like, it's legit. We're going to accept it. So because I am slowing down to take care of all of these things, or like the universe is coming back to me and saying, you're on the right page. Like, there was a reason why, you know, I kind of had to fall back just a little bit in my business so that I could come forward. There was a reason why I was able to go to Platinum Edge and for this to resonate so strongly with me. So anyway, that's my takeaway. I hope you guys like it. I just am feeling so different, way different than I've ever felt, especially with all the events that I've gone to. This to me just was like, I don't know. So sorry if I got a little long-winded, but that's my takeaways from this event.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Yeah.
I know you guys have to hop off, but I'll obviously keep this going. When I signed up as a coach, you know, I heard about how important live events were. I heard that Summit was important. I heard that that Platinum Edge was important. And my first, you know, I signed up last March, so I'm going on my 2 years. And I didn't go to my first Summit. I didn't go to Platinum Edge last year. And so July was my first real, true live event experience, and Summit changed my life. I walked away with such a, like, feeling like I was in such a positive bubble. And after Summit, Dawn and I were the only two from my personal team who were there. And I remember we came back and we spent weeks trying to kind of like train the team. You know, like, we took the notes and we like do all these Zooms. And what I found was that I spent all that time trying to train my team, but they never really implemented anything because they weren't hearing it firsthand. And so now, coming back from Platinum Edge, and I've heard from people before who said Platinum Edge is, like, Summit's amazing, Platinum Edge is life-changing. Like, Platinum Edge is better than Summit in the fact that the training is so specific. You walk away, you get all this information, but you walk away feeling like you have a plan of action to take, and you know what direction you're going to go with your business. And you can kind of sort through all the information that you have and say, okay, this is number one. This is what I need right now in my business. All these other things, I know exactly when down the line I can implement those. And so now my game plan going into the rest of the year, or finishing out the year with all this information, is not to retrain my team. It is to, I will create systems and I will share that information, but you guys have to understand that live events are non-negotiables for your business. They just are. And they're not, going to live events is not going to be convenient. It's not going to be convenient financially. I couldn't afford, really, still, to go to Platinum Edge. Luckily, I bought my ticket a while ago, but it would have been so much easier for me just to stay and keep that money that I spent in Dallas. But it's a non-negotiable. And so financially, it's not going to be convenient. time-wise, it's not going to be convenient. It's never going to be convenient to do the things that you need to do in order for your business to grow. And that's really like, we always hear live events are just a must-do. And I think that until you start going consistently, then you start to realize that it really is true. We heard story after story after story of people who said that as soon as they got back from Platinum Edge, their business just blew up because they just had all this incredible training. So I definitely want to open it up to you guys to ask questions. Let us know where you're struggling in your business, and maybe we can help with things that we heard over the weekend to help. The schedule, for sure, like that should be number one. Figure out, like write down the schedule of what you have to do every single day in your own personal life, and then figure out, I would say, no less than 1 hour. So 1 to 3 hours, maybe, depending on what your schedule looks like, that you can have focused time on your business. And that means your phone is either turned off or in another room. If you need your phone on, let's say, obviously you have children in school, for instance, and you need the phone on in case someone calls, then set a ringtone. But have your phone in the other room so that you know what that ringtone sounds like. It's like your emergency ringtone, and anything else you can ignore. I also have set separate hours for my personal business and for my team, kind of like Chrissy did, where she let her team know, like, these are my hours and this is when I'm available to you. I'm not available to my team 24 hours a day. I had to tell them the other day, like, I didn't leave my 50-hour-a-week job to work another 50-hour-a-week job. We want to be coaches for freedom. Like, that's what most of us want, is some sort of freedom. And so if you're not feeling the freedom in your business, then why are you doing it in the first place?
Yeah.
So I have so I have like an hour for personal development. Obviously, I'm doing it full time, so my schedule is going to be different than maybe some of yours. But I have an hour for personal development. I have an hour for a workout and shower. Shalene was also very adamant of, like, take care of yourself. I was so guilty of not showering until 7 o'clock at night and just going straight into my business and not taking care of myself. And so now from 9 to 10, it's my workout and shower time. And I get it done, and I put on makeup, and I dry my hair, and like I take care of myself. And then from 10 to 12 is my personal business time. And then I'm giving myself an hour lunch where I can listen to more podcasts and training. So I'm constantly getting that additional learning. And then from 1 to 3, I'm available to my team. So I've separated my personal business hours and the time that I'm available to my team. And I don't answer anything team related or leadership related until those hours. And if my team doesn't directly need me, then I'm working on systems. I'm going to take the training that I've learned and start implementing systems to help my team. And then my goal is to be done at 3. Like, I may, schedule some phone calls or whatever, but the majority of my day is done by 3, and it starts at, 10. So what do you guys got? What do you need help with?
Oh, Anne, I could just listen to you for hours. What was I going to say? Definitely the schedule. I like to. I actually was listening to Brooke Castillo about that, because she said, like, have an end task every hour. Like, okay, and I took it to, okay, this hour I'm going to do inviting. All right, at the end task, will be like, 15 invites for the day. You always have an end task and do it in chunks of 2 hours. So I like what you were saying. You're going to do your business hours and then your coaching hours too. What other was I going to say? I know I had like a ton of questions too. They didn't set the date for next year, did they? They
did. It's September.
Oh, of course.
It's end of September.
Yeah, I have it. Let me look here.
I got it too. It's September 23rd through the 25th.
Oh my God, you guys, I don't have a wedding. Oh my God. When is it? September what?
September 23rd through the 25th, but I would get there on the 22nd. I would allow yourself Thursday through Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I'm going to go to work and schedule this out today.
Anne, do you mind if I just jump in for just a quick?
Of course.
I just want to touch on, sorry, Courtney. I just
Nope.
wanted to touch on one thing. Darren Notori talked about protecting yourself. And so, just like with your passwords, he gave us it's called beyondthepassword.com, where you can get a checklist to protect yourself. And so I encourage you I got the checklist, and it'll email it to you. And so I downloaded it, and I let my team know about that. And I went through and got everything secured. I've done it on my Mac computer. I haven't done it on my newer computer here. But I did 1Password. I researched all of them, and 1Password seemed to be pretty easy. I don't know, Anne, if you or Dorothy, what your thoughts are, but for me, it seemed like 1Password was pretty easy. And so that's just going to protect your passwords. So basically what he wanted to say is that, just because you're not a Chalene or you're not like Oprah or somebody else doesn't mean that you cannot be hacked. How many of your friends have gotten their Facebook hacked already? So you want to step up, these speed bumps, or these speed bumps, so that they don't like your account. So then they're just going to move on to the next person. And so since obviously Chalene had all of those big issues of, her stuff getting hacked, this was absolutely by far, one of the best. Like, I was just like sitting on the edge of my seat, like listening to him and thinking, oh my gosh, I felt like so just like unprotected. But he goes through that whole checklist step by step. Did it take the majority of the day yesterday? Yeah. But there again, that's where you kind of have to slow down to speed back up again. So now I have things protected, and so you just want to make sure that you're being careful with your information. One of the things that I shared with Dorothy that I was doing, and I don't know if I shared this with Anne, but so like when you have a call to action post, they talked about putting your email there so that you gain that email list. That's all great and awesome, but one of the things that popped into my head that concerned me was, if I'm putting my email address out for people, then that's going to be subject to being hacked, correct? So what I thought I would do is make another Gmail account. So I have just a Hotmail account that I just use for bills and all that kind of stuff, and then I have my one Gmail account. That's where I do a lot of my business stuff. And so then I set up another Gmail account so that when I do a call to action post, I can put that in there, and then I can get them to that email, or I'll receive all their emails. Then once I've formed them, developed them, then all of their information is going to be transferred over to my other email. And then I'm going to delete that, because if the hacker could get in, they could get in to all of that personal information of your contacts. And you don't want that. So at least then it's clean, it's deleted, I've gotten that person transferred over. Is it going to create a little bit more work? Yeah, probably, but it's being safe, so that if anything were to happen, there is nothing in that email address that could ever be subject to being taken or anything like that. So that's just my thought process on that. And I don't know if you want to jump in, or what your thoughts are. That's what I decided to do.
Yeah, the training was really good. I posted the pictures in my team page as far as like, if you get this email, don't click on the link. If you see this page, don't answer it.
Yeah.
I haven't given the specifics yet, because I also wanted to be able to look at it. The checklist is number one on my to-do list. But Chrissy gave the information, which was really helpful, so thank you. As far as I don't give out my email address on Facebook. Like, as far as posts, I don't say email me. And I don't ask for my clients' emails like in the call to action. The direction that I'm going to go, because I have a website, is I'm going, and I know this isn't, not everyone is capable of doing this, but I'm planning on setting up an application on my website. So like for coach prospects, there'll be an application on my website. For challenger prospects, I think there's already an application on my website. I just need to start utilizing that. So then I'll give them the link to my website where they can apply, and everything is secure through my website. But yeah.
Did they talk about, like, obviously I know Shalene's big on her freemium and stuff like that, but did they talk about like
Realized I was muted. Sorry.
That's right.
Sorry. Go ahead, Courtney.
To create like more of like a following on a website? Obviously Periscope's a big one, but like, did they say like to start blogs? Is that more important to like shift your attention there? Is that, I feel like
They didn't talk about websites. The thing you have to remember is that there are so many different directions you can go in this business, and it can feel very overwhelming. Like, okay, there's blogs, there's websites, there's Facebook like pages, there's your personal page, there's Instagram, there's Periscope. And if you try to become really skilled at everything, then
Right.
most likely you're not going to be skilled at anything, honestly.
Right.
And so I would say, your personal page is really easy to do because you're on there all day, every day. I chose to have a website because I had taken a social media training with Brandy Botts, where she talked about the benefit to having a website is, let's say you post a picture of like whatever you're eating or whatever, and someone's like, oh, that sounds so delicious. What's the recipe? Instead of directing them to someone else's website, you can put up the recipe on your own website, put the link in the comments, and then create that affinity, and it's kind of a constant going thing. I haven't utilized my website as much as I want to, therefore my direction is going to be towards my website versus anything like page related, because I've already spent the money on my website. So for me, it's stupid to like pour in a bunch of money to my like page versus my website. Now, if you don't have a website, you could easily focus your attention on your like page as far as like the money aspect is concerned, as far as if you already have Facebook down and you're trying to figure out what next social media platform, I would not go to Instagram. I would definitely do Periscope. They did talk about you could do Facebook Live video. You could do Periscope, and I think there's like 2 others that I have written in my notes. So there are different live streaming options, but it's kind of whatever you feel most comfortable with.
right. Cool.
What about you, Whitney?
I don't know. My biggest thing is getting my coaches to work. I've done the welcome emails. I reach out to all of them daily. I mean, maybe not daily, but and of course there's some that are going to be discount coaches and they don't want to work, and they say it from the beginning, and there's only so much you can do. But then there's others that are, you were excited about and were promising, and they're still not. I mean,
Yep.
even responding.
Yep. All right, hold on. Let me pull up because that was definitely Janelle Summers was definitely. So I'm just gonna get out my notes because obviously not everything is in my brain. So okay, there's some options with getting new coaches started right, and a lot like I said, I'm going to put this into a system. So if you can't figure it all out right now, that's okay. But I want to give you information if you want to go with it. The first thing that we need to do, and I know we only have less than 8 minutes, the first thing we need to do is constantly remind our coaches who want to work that we have a larger team, and that is Platinum Presenters. Christine Dwyer is one of the 7 founding coaches. And so really in Beachbody, you technically have 7 downlines because there's only 7 founding coaches. Of our downline, we make up 45% of the coaches. We are a very successful downline. So we don't always need to recreate the wheel. We need to know that, like she kept calling herself the mothership. And it's true. We need to constantly remind people that we have Christine Dwyer who has created all this stuff. So platinumpresenters.com is make sure that you have a login to it. You just use your Beachbody login and start looking around.
Like add that to the welcome email, like the other ones, like Joelle's page, or just
no. I would just, for you personally, make sure that you have a login. Just I'm telling you guys, make sure that you know what's available there, so that if something isn't working, you know you have other resources to go to. So platinumpresenters.com. On there is, she just created a new coach training, which is Platinum Presenters University, which has a 14-day new coach training that gives them one video a day. So it's not going to, I think a lot of times it's very easy to overwhelm new coaches because we know the potential and we're excited about it. But I just think it's really easy to overwhelm coaches. So the Platinum Presenters University, the new coach training, it only allows them to do one video a day. Like they can't binge watch anything. So then there were some steps that Janelle Summers went through. So step 0 is to build belief in your new coaches before they even enroll. Make sure that you're connecting their goals to how coaching can help them. Make sure that you're telling them how they can benefit from the coaching opportunity. Share success stories so that they understand what's possible. Help them build the vision and the goals, but don't exaggerate. So you want them to know what's possible, but don't exaggerate anything. Like, it is a tough business. You are going to have to put in work. Like, don't pretend that this is easy when we know that it's not. Because when you set them up for that, then they're going to feel like they've failed. We are all guilty of the discount coach label. We are all guilty of it. And she said, it's fine, like, kind of within our head to think of, like, this person is a discount coach and this person is working the business. But when we welcome them to the team and basically label them as a discount coach right off the bat, then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's all they're ever going to be. And so we need to welcome them just like we welcome anyone else, and then they can decide, because we've heard success story after success story after success story on national wake-up calls of discount coaches who have ended up to be very successful coaches. And so we just need to make sure that we're not labeling them in a way that they feel like, well, that's all I'm ever capable of, is being a discount coach. And then the welcome email, that's definitely something, I've tried to take Anita Myron's and create one, and it doesn't seem to be working. We've tried it and tried it and tried it, and it doesn't seem to be working. So I plan on writing a new one based on the training. And then, what else? Apparently I stopped writing steps. I'm like, wait a second. I took pictures of slides, which is probably why I didn't. But the other thing we need to make sure people understand is that if, especially when they're wanting to sign up, like their spouses, for instance, that they know it's only 50 points to be active. So if you're wanting to sign your spouse to help you achieve Emeralds, they don't need to be on Shakeology. They can be on Recover. It's 50 points. They're active, and then it's not going to cost them $100 a month. Constantly repeat what Emerald is and what Success Club is. Don't assume that because we've said something one time or 2 times or 3 times that all of a sudden they get it. I think there's so much that happens between when someone signs on and when they achieve Emerald and even beyond, that I think I know that my biggest struggle is getting people on and getting them to Emerald. I feel like once they're Emeralds, then I can kind of help with that leadership. I feel my strengths as a leader are better once people are Emerald and beyond, but we have to retain coaches. We all have to. So I think that's an area where we kind of struggle as a team. If someone's watching the recording and doesn't struggle, please let us know. But I know that I struggle with it too, guys. That's me being honest. So does that, I don't know if that helps. I don't really have any answers, but
yeah.
But my biggest, I would let you just go to Platinum Presenters. Make sure you're listening to Platinum Presenters has a podcast, so make sure you're listening to her podcasts. I think it's really easy to think like, okay, well, we have Misfit Republic and that's it. we also have Janelle Summers, JanelleSummers.com. She has training. You do have to log in. It's the username is Team Hardcore, all lowercase, one word, and then the password is fitness, all lowercase. She has team calls. You know, we have access to Mindy Wender. We have access to literally the best of the best. We have 5 of the top 10 coaches in our upline. So, you know, we're connected to good people.
Yeah. Yeah, that helps me. I mean, you know, as much as it can until you actually do it. So.
Yeah. Yep. Anything else in our last minute? No?
I'm good.
It's good to see your faces.
You too.
You
All right,
too.
I will, I'll stop the recording. We can end it. But